so much information is coming at you because, you know, the split screen quadrants, the simultaneity of all of it. But there's something that is just sort of critically important at the center of it to highlight, which is that Illinois is a concealed carry state. We have the much, you know, celebrated Second Amendment. There was actually no legal rationale for stopping Mr. Augustus because there was some evidence that he had a gun. So from that moment, there are a sequence of police actions that produce the split second in which they use lethal force. So no reason to stop him. And the police are on the street there essentially as scarecrows. They're not on a gun seizure operation. They've just been asked to kind of show the flag because of some frisky young gangbangers who were active. And so you have just this train of both violations of policy and just kind of boneheaded moves. The more senior African-American officer, Quincy Jones, asks Mr. Augustus to stop, and initially, quite deferentially, on the assumption that he has reason to be carrying a gun, asks, "Excuse me, sir, are you security?" He stopped. Augustus has earbuds in, so he doesn't hear immediately. Then he stops, and they're having a completely civil exchange. I interviewed a security officer who was standing right next to Jones. Said, you know, this is they're just both of them understand what their interaction is. Nobody likes to be stopped by the police. You know, you might get a citation or have to show up in court. But the Augustus is completely compliant. He reaches for his wallet to show his FOID card, his firearm ownership card. You do need another concealed carry license in Illinois, and I still don't know 100%, but it appears he didn't have one, but he never got a chance to show that he didn't have one. And the three rookie junior officers encircle him from behind and grab at him. He bolts at that moment, stumbles into the street, and you know, his gun becomes visible. His hand is in proximity to his gun. Is he drawing for his gun? Is he not? You know, is he just trying to stabilize his holster as he kind of impulsively flees from this sort of startling moment? We don't know. We can never know. Hallie shoots him at that point. 5 shots, all of them land. He falls to the ground. The officers, and this is policy, you know, appalling as it is, the first thing they do is handcuff him. An officer comes and unholsters his gun, which, you know, never left the holster. And in his hand is his wallet. He was trying to show his identification and his right to be carrying a gun. So, you know, this is an instance where, and this is really what the discourse about the so-called split second is about. And I should point out that there's I think the plaintiff's name is Barnes, but there's a case in the Supreme Court this term that I think will be argued in January sometime that sort of revisits this precedent. And I'm not encouraged about what's going to happen at the level of the Supreme Court, but the critical thing to recognize in what Bill has so brilliantly done here is this is kind of the prototype of so many other highly visible, celebrated instances in this era where police conduct, not somebody committing a terrible crime and the police intervene, police conduct produces the moment where the police choose to use lethal force. And then the law says, we only look at the split second. Did he have a gun? Did he not have a gun? Was it a cell phone? Was it a gun? You know, that's the current state of the law. Think about all the cases. You know, Laquan McDonald's a teenage kid, you know, I think, you know, kind of drugged out, wandering around, disassociated in a deserted neighborhood with a folding knife in his hand. Eric Gardner is a street hustler selling single cigarettes on the street. The most celebrated case, George Floyd, is a guy who allegedly was passing a counterfeit 20. Tamir Rice, a little boy playing with a toy gun in a playground. Again and again and again, we have a situation where the police produce the moment when they use lethal force, and yet that is the law, that is the prevailing sort of legal paradigm. And I think, who knows how change comes with something like that. But I think it's really important to recognize that the Aretha Augustus case would have completely disappeared from public view and public attention were it not first for our reporting and the Six Durations Project, but then culminating with Bill's work. So it's a kind of journalistic / artistic intervention that keeps these issues alive, because currently the law doesn't